John Runions is a professor of cell biology at Oxford Brookes University. Earlier, I asked him how realistic it is that people would join a living lab.
Well, it's a concept that if you haven't heard about it already, you're going to hear about it in the next couple of years. It's a big, huge buzzword, but how realistic is it? I don't know. It hasn't really been tried and tested, although all of the universities and research institutes around the world are talking about setting up living labs. In other words, where the people actually live in the laboratory, in a sense. The city becomes laboratory. Everything that the people do who live there is monitored and data is collected from them. The question is, will people feel like their privacy is being invaded? Will they feed back in? Because the idea of a living lab is that they are supposed to suggest the inventions, and they're supposed to contribute and co-author, in a sense, all of these great new wonderful ideas for urban living. Will it work? I really, doing my research on the internet, I can't find any reports of it really working, so that the people that live in the city have come up with a wonderful idea that's now being implemented worldwide. But I think with the rise of living labs around the world, we will start to hear about these sorts of inventions very soon.
What about what's happening in Toronto?
Oh, well, Toronto is fantastic. So Google, the giant multinational corporation, have decided to use Toronto as their test bed. They've got a waterfront area, 800 acres. They're going to completely living lab it, in a sense. They're going to build it from the ground up with all of their IT infrastructure, and they're going to invite people to move in as co-founders and co-creators of all of the new intellectual property. So that's on the drawing board at the moment. We'll see what happens in the next couple of years.
So if we were to have a living lab here, how realistically, how far away would that be in time?
Oh, well, it's going to take a few years, and I think the best way to create a living lab is going to be to do it from the ground up so that you can put the new infrastructure in. So these new garden towns and villages that are planned for Oxfordshire, for example, they need to be built. So that takes a few years anyway, and while they're being built, they'll put in some of the ideas that living lab scientists are generating for things like recycling, transportation, accessibility of homes, and what have you. So I'd say we're looking at 7 to 10 years before we start getting any results back from this sort of research.
Professor John Runions, thank you.